What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So it's time for me to take some time to start to talk about one of my favorite games that I've actually ever played. Now, most of you know this channel as one that has always followed Gotham Knights for maybe a long time. But what many of you do not know is when I first started my channel, I did one of my very first retrospectives on God of War. In fact, I named it something along the lines of Dad of War. And that's been so many years. But at the meantime, I've decided that I was going to be covering other superhero games, probably and stay my best close to when the release of this game was coming out. And actually, my biggest contemplation was whether or not I wanted to actually talk about God of War. But then going back and looking at my playtime, looking at all of what I'd garnered and gathered surrounding the first game, I thought, man, maybe it might be something that is beneficial for my audience members here that are on the PlayStation side of things. For those of you who are on Xbox, I just want to say, it is one of those things where, exclusives are going to continue to be very tumultuous in the gaming community for a very long time. Now, my biggest challenge here is not even necessarily where I want to play God of War or, whatever. It's a matter of when I want to actually play this game. On release or probably in about a year when they finally bring it out on PC. Right now, I'm actually running the game back for the third time, I think, on PC. And I'm taking my time to enjoy the game at better performance and also go back to just, in my own mind anyways, trying to master the combat. This is one of the combat systems that has really tried to trounce me. It's not the easiest to pick up, especially when you come from the Arkham games. The Arkham games, like somebody described today, it's like a high school, fantasy. Whereas games like these, they have the, moniker of what a reality looks like in real life in terms of how the difference changes from when you're so naive about how things should be. And I think that's the biggest and most enjoyed part for me, nonetheless. In fact, I even had an offer from one of the best God of War players on the platform for me to come and learn how to, do the combat. And I never took the offer up years ago. I was so busy. I think we just had a new child. In fact, he himself has recently become a dad. So I'm really looking forward to see how he actually, pulls the game off, especially coming from that perspective and seeing a new game from the perspective of, a new parent. So there's so many things and so many layers surrounding this game that I really want to go ahead and just pretty much, put in perspective. The game is going to be coming out on the PlayStation 4 console, so it's really going to keep its core audience, and it's also going to be coming out on the PlayStation 5. I sold my PlayStation 4 when I was trying to get my PS5. That was kind of a mistake. I should have just kept the darn thing, because now for you to get one, sure, you can get one cheap, but it almost makes no sense to go ahead and buy yourself another one. You could just pretty much, use your PS5 and you'll be fine, but there is something about the God of War, being playing it on that experience anyways and going back and trying to figure out, everything. But at the end of the day, Sony Santa Monica, they're going to deliver a very good experience. This is one of those games where not much needs to be said. The only thing that really needs to be put together surrounding this game is just pretty much how you are going to, be able to interact with the game, what your, expectations are in regard to the story. For me, I'm not really expecting too many surprises. That's one of those things about sequels, and it's very good for you to keep your expectations at a realistic pace, most especially with sequels, because the first game might go do so well that it almost does not match the experience of the second game. And it's, in my opinion, something that is not commonly seen for sequels to outdo their prequels, especially when they're done in a chronological order in regard to story. There is nonetheless a lot that you can probably, look towards, a lot of things that you can kind of put forward that a lot of people are looking, forward to. For me, running the Video Game Fight School channel, it is, in my opinion, combat. I really, I'm somebody who really likes good combat in video games. At first, I could not really appreciate the depth of this game, and that's why I've had to play it about 3 times. Because initially, you're playing the game, and all you're doing is just basically, your plebbishness, all of those things that you think are going to get you to victory. But then eventually, you start to master the game. You start to realize that the game actually has a lot of different tips and tricks out there, or at least the game has a lot of different ideas for you to implement in order for you to be successful as you're playing the game. And then you find out that this game was a game that wanted to make something that was a little more intuitive, or at least as much as it could, dynamic as the Dark Souls games in one aspect, but then tell a story, which is something that for many people, they don't feel the Dark Souls games and even a game like Elden Ring does very well. In regard to contention, if you ask me which game I think will be game of the year, I strongly believe that this game is probably going to be one of the games that will make it into the top 2 spots. There is a big contention right now with the gaming community as to whether this game or Elden Ring can actually make it. In my opinion, I don't think it necessarily matters. I'm strongly in the position that the more you can get games that are doing their own thing, that are coming from experienced developers, the better it is the industry, eventually starts to shape up to be. Because Elden Ring is a game that's doing its own thing, and it's a game that's appealing to its own fans. God of War is also a game doing its own thing and appealing to its own fans as well. So if you actually wanted to weigh them both together, you probably will not be able to get yourself a very realistic metric for both games, especially the fact that one of them is actually, a console exclusive for now. It's on the PlayStation 5, and we can only wait to see when it comes out on PC. So in regard to the game, I think I'm going to go ahead and answer my own question. I'm looking forward to playing the game more on PC, but for now, I think when the game comes out, I'm probably going to engage in it on the PlayStation 5, and I'm going to eventually start to learn and just, engage with the mechanics as they come out, because even the mechanics of the first game, I never even got enough time to deal with. So I'm hoping that I actually do have some more time to deal with the mechanics and the combat in this game. We'll see, though. We hope to see if there's some more depth with the RPG mechanics. There were some, I would say, arguably deep portions of the mechanic overall, and I can tell you for sure that it would be nice for us to see elements like that in the new game. So stay tuned. If you want to see my retrospective on the God of War game from 2018, I'll find it and put a link in the description. It's a really old video, so don't cringe too much. I was just kind of starting off, and I hope you are able to check it out and enjoy it. So thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll see pretty much very soon in another video. Peace out.